elevator pitches. There's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. And in today's episode, I'm going to break it down for you how to do an effective elevator pitch that actually gets conversations and not eye rolls. Welcome to the Brand Bridge, the podcast that's all about branding, entrepreneurship, mindset, faith, all the things that you need to build a compromise-free brand. My name is Melissa, and today we are talking about how to create an elevator pitch that's effective. Now, there's lots of talk about and lots of confusion around an elevator pitch. When do I use it? How do I structure it? What do I say? All of these things. We're going to break it down today. We're going to get into how you craft an effective elevator pitch. Now, an elevator pitch is all about who you are and what you do and how you serve and the solution that you are bringing to your clients. And so when you're in a situation where you need your elevator pitch, first of all, analyze and use some discernment, use some wisdom to see if you should proceed. You know, when you're at a stop sign, when you're at a red light, you have to wait until you see the green light, right? When you're at a red light, to know that you can go. You have to check to proceed. And the same with your elevator pitch. If you are at a networking event or you're just out somewhere and somebody asks you what you do, instinctively we kind of get nervous and we're like, okay, I have to say this like very well crafted thing and hope that they understand what I'm talking about. But an elevator pitch, and maybe this is where I differ from other strategists, from other people who do messaging and who craft communication. I believe that your elevator pitch, first of all, it should be conversational. It shouldn't even sound like an elevator pitch. It shouldn't even sound like you're trying to sell something. It's just a conversation. It's simply that somebody is asking you what you do. And like I said about checking to proceed, before you even start thinking of your whole spiel, just see if they're actually even interested. I'm a personal branding expert. I help with messaging. I'm a video confidence coach, all the things, right? But some people don't know what all those things are, first of all, and some people don't care. You have to see if this person is engaged. If this person's engaged, if they're asking you a lot of questions, then feel open to explain more. So for what I do, usually what I start off with, and it depends on the context. If I'm at a networking event where it's kind of, you're almost expected to say an elevator pitch, I like to stand out by not saying one and just simply stating a simple title of what I do. If people want to know more, guess what? They're going to ask more. And if they don't, they're going to say, oh, that's cool, and move on. And so that doesn't waste your time and that doesn't waste their time, right? So like I said, I'm a personal branding expert. I help with video confidence. So if someone at a networking event asks me, oh, what do you do? I will simply keep it short and sweet. And I will say, oh, I'm in personal branding. Now, if they inquire more, then I will give more. Oh, who do you work with? Da, da, da. Then I'll give more of what I do and my solution. But up until that moment, I don't know if they're interested. I don't know if they know what that is. So when you leave it more open, you get more conversation. You get something that's more natural. Because now somebody might say, when you say what you do, oh, really? I don't know what that is. Or, oh, I've heard of that, but I'm not sure what that is or what you do. Then that opens up a conversation and you're out of sales mode and you're in a conversation and you're in relationship building. And that's where you want to be. You want to be not the person who was just running up to everyone saying, this memorized elevator pitch, but you want to be in people's memory as being that person who was just so casual, was so confident, was so it didn't shove everything in your face. And again, there's a time and a place for everything. Now, let's say one of my podcast episode, I was talking about Gen Z, and I had a conversation with a Gen Z young founder. And when you're out in the open, in the world, and somebody asks you what you do, now the context is completely different. At a networking event, yes, it's expected. People are there because we want to make connections. We want to see if people have what we're looking for, things like that. But when you're just out at a grocery store, if you're at a wedding and you bust out your elevator pitch, it's kind of weird, right? Like you're just at your friend's wedding and someone's like, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I'm this and I help people." Da 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 da. It's kind of out of place, right? So again, the same rules apply. Check to proceed. Check to see if they're interested, they want to know more. So in my case, what I usually do is I say that I'm in marketing. I just keep it. Most people know what marketing is or have an idea of what it is. And I just keep it at that. If they ask me more questions, it's like, oh, specifically, what do you do or where do you work or any of those questions, you got it. You give more information. So having that context in mind that okay, first of all, hold up, wait a minute. I got to check some things out. You have to check to proceed to make sure that this person's open. And then if it allows, if they ask, you give more information. So how do you structure one so that it's effective if you do happen to be in front of your ideal client or someone who's interested in what you do, wants to know more? How do you structure it? Well, there is a simple, straightforward way that I structure my elevator pitches when I'm working with someone. I also want to put another disclaimer, actually, because this is really important and this is key. And if you don't get this part, everything else after is not going to work, is going to be a disaster. So keep this in mind. Before I break down the structure, keep this in mind. Your elevator pitch is actually for you. Your elevator pitch isn't for other people. Your elevator pitch isn't for your ideal clients. It isn't for the people at the networking event. It is for you. So keep that in mind. And why? And you're saying, well, Mel, why is the elevator pitch for me? That doesn't make sense. It has to communicate what I do and the problem that I solve for my ideal client, for this person I'm talking to. What do you mean it's for me? Your elevator pitch is for you because it's helping you understand, it's helping you write down and make notes of how you communicate and what your actual problem is you solve or the desire that you meet. It's for you to get it clear in your head. This is what I do. This is who I help, so that it just comes out naturally. So you're not having to think of a formula, but you just know it so well. It's just part of who you are and how you communicate that it just sounds natural. And for everything, I believe in structure and flow. If you have the structure, you'll be able to flow. And that's what you want. That's the key. You don't want it to sound like a sales pitch. You don't want it to sound like you're just regurgitating the same line to everybody, because you want to build a connection. So when you know your elevator pitch is for you, and when you know it so well, you're able to flow. You're able just to be in that state of flow when you meet people, when you have conversations. So now you're saying, Mel, I get it. I got it. Good. Tell me the structure. So this is the structure of how to create an elevator pitch that is effective. Like I said, this is the structure, but you want it to come from a place of flow. Now, I'm going to give you the breakdown, but when you're having a conversation, it's going to, you just have to make sure that it comes out as a conversation, right? So, this is the structure. It's called Why Me. And you are going to start with just saying who your ideal client is right from the get go. So if you're talking to a man, for example, and you work with women, he knows, okay, this isn't for me. So you're going to say who it is that you work with. You're going to say in a very conversational way, you're going to paint the problem. You're going to say what your solution is. And then you're going to, if it's fits in, you're going to say some value benefit, and then you're going to do a call to action, a CTA. But the CTA isn't, oh, and so do you want to work with me? It's not that. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're a social media manager and you help people with Instagram. So if I'm, or let's say I'm going to role play the role. If you come up to me and you ask me what I do, I say, "Oh, I'm a social media marketer." "Oh, cool. What do you do? Like, who do you help?" Then I would say something like, "I usually work with women entrepreneurs who are really confused with their Instagram. You know, like when it's just like that time of day when you haven't posted and then you're freaking out and you don't know what to post. Well, I'm the one that solves that problem. And I help my clients by saving them 15 hours a week or so doing that. Do you have problems with your Instagram too?" Something like that. It's not going to sound exactly like, like a caption, but you are going to make it flow. You're going to make it come out of your heart. If it was me, I'm going to give you another example and use myself. So what I usually say is I'm in personal branding. And if somebody asks me for more details, then I would say, yes, I usually help women entrepreneurs who feel stuck in their message. They know they have something to say, but they just don't know how to say it. And a lot of times too, they don't want to show up on video. Can you relate to that cringy feeling? And you can let them answer. And then I would say, oh, what kind of business do you have? Do you find this is a real struggle for you too? So that's the call to action. The call to action is just a question to gauge, where are they with this problem? It's not to say I can help you. It's not to say here's my card. It's not to say any of those things. If you decide to exchange cards, then that's amazing. But it's just to paint a bit of a picture of what you do and then ask them to make more of a conversation, to create more of a relationship. You just simply ask them if they have this issue too. Can they relate to this? They might say yes, they might say no, and you go from there. But the idea is you say who you are here to serve, you paint the picture of the problem, you say how you help a little bit and give some value, and then you ask them if they've ever come across this issue before. It's really as simple as that. And you might be thinking, Mel, I can't remember all that. Well, you don't have to remember all that either. Like I said, your elevator pitch is for you. It's for you just to have some ideas of what would happen if you had a conversation with a potential client. What happens if you go to a networking event? Maybe you're nervous to go to networking events because of this reason, because you don't have your elevator pitch prepared, because you don't know what to say or how to explain what you do. When you take time to craft it, when you take time to just really understand, okay, what is it that I do? What is it? How is it that I help people? What is the solution that I am bringing that I can say in one sentence? That is so hard for people, is to say what they do in one sentence, because we feel like there's so many nuances and there's so many this and there's so many that, and but they need to know this and they need to know that. People only need to know what they need to know and nothing more. It's only us that wants to give more context, give more, and then you've talked somebody out of something that maybe they actually wanted. because you did more talking than you did listening. So that's it. That's really the art of an elevator pitch, is check to proceed, see if people want more information, if they want to engage more. Have your pitch kind of loosely in your mind with the structure so that it can flow. It's not about memorizing. It's just about knowing what direction you want to go in and how to say it in a clear way. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining this episode. We'll see you on the next episode. And I hope and I pray that you all get to live with heart, lead with purpose, and do both compromise free. We'll see you next time. Bye.